There is a variety of rollout user interface control types. We've just looked at button and spinner. But you have all these other options as well when you're creating a rollout. And the help file here gives some sample code that shows a good number of these. So let's try this out. Here's that same sample code, and notice the utility keyword. This will cause this to be created in the utility panel here as a rollout. So the first thing I'm going to do is just define this by executing this with the Enter key on the number pad. And that doesn't actually cause anything to happen over here, but now MaxScript knows this UI_items name. And then I'm going to come to this line, Open Utility, UI items, and hit the Enter key. And I'll just close this rollout. Here is our rollout. So for example, we have a bitmap, 50 by 50. And this particular bitmap doesn't have anything in it, so let's take a look at the help file for that. So I'm going to click on the bitmap user interface control, and it tells me that I can supply a file name or bitmap. And if I scroll down here, it says that this would allow me to use an existing bitmap value, or just to get an empty image of a specified size, and that's what I've done. And I could have specified a color for it as well. Because that wasn't done, it just ended up black. Here's the button. We're familiar with that. Checkbox. And here's a check button, which is a button that you click and it stays clicked. And you unclick it and it stays unclicked. A color picker. A combo box. So this allows you to choose one value from a number of values. A drop-down list. Same functionality as the combo box, but using a different format. Edit text. Allows you to input text. Here's a label created by this line right here. A list box. And this is basically just like a drop-down list, except you don't get the drop-down. You just have the whole list visible. The difference between that and the combo box is that in the combo box, you actually can write something in the top. You don't get that option with the list box. And a map button displays the material map browser. And you have events to determine what the user picks, or even if the right-click menu is used. The Material button is similar to the Map button. It brings up the Material Map browser, but with the Material button, only materials are displayed. With the Map button, only texture maps are displayed. The Pick button allows you to pick an object from the scene. So for example, you could bring up H now and pick an object. And the object that you pick would be reflected in the picked event. Here's a progress bar, radio buttons, a spinner, which we've seen, and a slider. And finally, timer is not actually a visible control. It lets the user interface do things without user interaction. And then finally, you get a close button. But we can also close the rollout using the close utility command. So let's try that. So that's an introduction to the rollout user interface control types.